one I wrote for my mom about 2 years ago, back in February, and just like I write poetry all the time, and I never really told her how I felt. And like with a real troubled past, she felt guilty for a lot of things, so just wanted to show her how I felt and things like that. So here it is. When I was 9 years old, I ran away from a family my grandmother illegally placed me in. After getting caught, 10 hours later, I got several swats in the lecture that carried on for hours, but the most memorable quotes were the following. If your mother really loved you, don't you think you would be living with her instead of us? Your grandmother, your dad, the Spaniels, Jeff and Cindy, your other foster families, they didn't want you. We took you in. Now, the first few rough drafts of this poem started with me screaming obscenities at this part in the direction of the ever so loving and kind preacher and teacher that took me and spoke these words to me. I decided instead I would take the advice that the grandmother that gave me to them then would probably give to me now. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And I don't feel like not saying anything at all, so only say nice things, only kind things to the one I've always loved the most in my life, my mother. So this is what I remember. I remember softies on my back and her voice accompanying my fleeting thoughts as top eyelid would meet bottom eyelid and reality melded into dreams. I remember mornings on the way to the methadone clinic eating fresh blueberry muffins. I remember the ice cream truck sparking her and I into action, scratching just enough change together to get me and my sister a treat. I remember her finally giving me in to letting me get a cat, then reluctantly agreeing to let me name it Kansas. I remember eating real dinners on plates that weren't paper, then even remember when I was taken away from my mom, hoping I was just in the middle of a really long, bad dream, and one day I would wake up looking into her eyes and everything would be back to normal. Hell, even 23 years old, I sometimes hope I'm still in that dream, and one day I'm going to wake up looking into her eyes and everything will be back to normal. When I left them for good and moved back in with my mom at 15, I remember me making excuses to not go to school, and I remember her making excuses for me to not go to school, and we would sit and spend the day catching up on years that unfortunately were not dreams. I remember her being the only one working and never seeing her eat so she could support me and her unemployed husband. I remember her always doing everything she could for me, even when she had hepatitis C and could barely do anything for herself. And if I had a few more minutes to share this poem, I'd tell you a million more memories, but instead, I'll tell you a few things I can't for the life of me remember. I can't remember my drug-addicted mother doing a single drug in front of me. I can't remember her abusing me, and most importantly, I can't remember a single time I felt unwanted. So to the foster families, and anyone else that doubts my mother's love, I've been through stuff in my life that most will never have to go through, but I bet you if I have pleasant dreams, the majority of you can at some point remember things in your life that I just said I never remember having to go through in mine.